I hate to break the fishing news after Ramchuck, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations. You're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Welcome into episode 265 of the Real Life Podcast. I am Tyler Yaremchuk. Chalmers is here. Jay's here as well. We got a loaded Thursday show, as we often do. Struddy will be by in 10 for a quick Oilers talk. Scott Hastings towards the end of the show to talk a little betting. On the topic of betting, Chalmers, you were a hot guy yesterday when it comes to betting.
He's a hot guy.
Oh man, was it a fun night last night? That was a good one. Yeah, we had some hot bets. Right before the game, Bag Milk asked me to join a cool little segment that he started doing called Risky Business before the game. Mm-hmm. About an hour before the game, for anybody that doesn't know, on Instagram Live, he'll go live and he will make 4 bets. Basically, his bet of the game, his easy money, which is, usually something that's bound to happen, he thinks, the risky business, and then a parlay. And so he messaged me about 20 minutes before he was going to do it and said, Charles, would you jump on and do it with me? Mm-hmm. And I was like, that sounds awesome. But I had done zero research. And we've talked about my betting in the past. I like to wait right till game time. I like to get a feel right at game time and then bet. So it was about an hour before. And so I sat down about 5 minutes before I joined him. And I just started looking at everything. And, for my bet of the game, so yeah, it was a good night. Bet of the game, Leon Draisaitl, plus 135, hitting over 1.5 points. My easy money was Connor at 2.5 points, and that was a plus 425.
That was your easy money, was McDavid over 2.5 points.
That was actually, I might have him backwards. I think maybe McDavid was my bet of the game, and Draisaitl was my easy money. That's how it was. Draisaitl over 1.5 was definitely my easy money. You're right. But then I wanted to have a lot of fun with risky business because he had Gaetan Haas at plus 550 scoring a goal, and I love that. But my risky business is I wanted to be like plus 800 or over, and I saw that they had after the period exact scores. And I don't know why, but I saw plus 1,200 on 2-0. And I just went, I'm doing it. It feels right. I'm doing it. And so I did it. The parlay, we don't need to talk about the parlay because
fuck the parlay.
Who cares? You made a ton of money.
You have 3 teams that you put in the parlay, 2 favorites and an underdog. The underdog wins and the 2 favorites lose. That's just like, I hate days like that. But anyway.
That's classic parlay, though.
We were up 2-0 with 11 minutes to go in the first. Those were some of the most stressful 11 minutes. They get a power play with like 2 minutes and 47 seconds in the game left in the period. And I'm like, here we go. It's all gone. This sucks. And they get good pressure. And Mike Smith stands on his head for that penalty kill. And then there's like 50 seconds left, and they traded chances in the last 50 seconds. I was stressing out, but man, was it ever good. I realized why I don't do stories on Instagram because I was like, I got to put this out there. And it took me the whole intermission just to put out like 2 posts in a story. But man, did I have some fun with that. And I wanted so bad to like say something to somebody like, it's happening, but I just knew I would jinx it. So man, was that a fun night.
For probably the first time in like 5 games, I didn't bet on the Oilers to win the first period because the sportsbook I used gave me a free $20 live bet. So I was sitting there like, okay, I'm going to wait until the first TV timeout and then live bet the Oilers to win the first period. And of course, by the time we got to that point, the Oilers were already up 1-0. So I couldn't go hop in and live bet it. Mr. Bagmilk has joined, but he's on another phone call while he has joined our Zoom call.
It looks like he's using a flip phone. Yeah.
That's a brick of a phone. Wow. Anyways.
What the hell is going on?
And he just got up and walked away. So the people listening to this podcast didn't see what just happened, but Bagmilk just basically joined the Zoom call and then like completely fucked off.
The hardest working man in the nation. Look at him, just going at it.
Hey, I take offense to that.
Yeah, me too.
I knew both of you would. Of course, that's the point. 80.
Jay, what'd you think of the game last night?
Well, I thought it is exactly what it should be. That we needed to show Calgary that they got lucky in the first game and make a statement, and we did exactly that. I was pumped to see Cahoon back in the lineup. Can we fucking talk about that Draisaitl one-touch pass to Cahoon?
I think he should be suspended for it.
Like, that was unbelievable. That's why.
Dirty play.
So they've got Sedin connectivity, those two. So I'm so happy that they put him back in the lineup and that they actually broke up the McDavid Draisaitl line, put Dry with Cahoon, and boom, it paid off. I was so happy to see that. Hopefully, because Cahoon is here to stay, because that allows us to have the two lines the way we did. So that was great. Pool party scoring. Always love seeing that kid smile. Cassian back. He was a factor. That was exciting. A lot of good things to take from that game. Mike Smith was clearly so jacked after that game.
He was great.
So that meant a lot to him to do that. And yeah, it's we're buzzing again. So it was the game that was exactly what that game should have been. And I'm so pumped about it.
I haven't seen somebody who likes winning as much as Mike Smith in a while. Like, it's 7-3. He clearly knows, and he reacts at the end of the game like it was 6-5, and it was like a barrage of shots in the last minute. The two goals that happened, whatever. He played absolutely incredible. And, it's funny because I had said to Bag Milk on the pregame show that, like, when McDavid and Draisaitl are shut down, I think everybody's kind of realized that they come back with full force, right? Yeah. The next game. And so I tune into the broadcast right at 8 o'clock, and it's the Calgary guys, and that's fine by me. And the first thing they say is, the one thing we're going to have to watch out for is McDavid and Draisaitl blowing up tonight, because they always perform after they get shut out. And, that just was music to my ears, especially with all my bets. But the other thing I have to comment on is a lot of people talking about little tiny things that they say that makes them homer. Every broadcast is a homer.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Except for like a national TV one, but yeah.
Except for a national TV one. Those fuck. But what you didn't fixate on, if that's what you heard when they said, oh, they're still in this at 7-3, kind of probably being a small bit sarcastic, was how much they talked about how much they loved Smith for just that little push on Russell, how much they loved Russell for being a gamer and making that play after his skate blade fell out, how much they were giving credit to the Oilers after the game for just being, a team that is in tip-top form right now. And when they are, that's what they look at. I hate when people see it through those blinders and don't see the other side of it. Well, those guys were good last night. I didn't care that they were Calgary broadcasters. I thought they were great.
I like Rick Ball's call. I actually think he has a really, really solid call. The other thing too, like, you can sit there and be like, oh, Flames homers, I hate them. It's like literally Rogers Sportsnet Flames hockey. And if a Flames fan were to listen to Jack Michaels, I love Jack. I think Jack's call is one of the best around the league. But there would be elements of that broadcast that do the same thing. I remember when the Oilers were down 3-0 to the Habs this year, and Shore scored a shorthanded goal with like 3 minutes left, and Jack was like, they're back in it. And I was like, if I was a Habs fan and heard that, I would be dying laughing, because like, there's no way the Oilers were back in it. But when you do regional games, your job is to hype up the regional crowd in which you are representing. So yeah, the people who bitch about the Flames broadcast, like, I don't know. I think it's just a little bit much. Like, you should know what's happening.
This is the whole reason why we didn't like Drew Remenda. It's because he wasn't a homer and he was always blowing the other team.
Well, and like, I actually didn't even think Drew was, everyone loved to jump down his throat, but like, I didn't think he was a terrible analyst. He's a really nice guy, but everyone's like, I fucking hate that guy.
He wasn't a homer though.
Because he wasn't a homer. That was it. That's why people didn't like him. Anyways.
Like, Like if we took as Oilers Nation, if we took just kind of like the opposite side takes in our content, we would be absolutely shelled for it. Yeah. But you got to have anyone who's on brand or on side with the team and the fandom. You need to have that homerism, because that's what we want. We want that. We want that hope. If we're down 7-3, we want Jack Michaels to say that now we know we might have a chance to pull it off.
Bang on. Let's get to our chat with Struddy, our weekly chat with the former NHLer Jason Strudwick, which is brought to you by Vision VR Hockey Training. Train your hockey brain to see the plays to make on the ice with their off-ice reps. It's a VR reality training system. It's located in St. Albert, visionvrhockey.com. And Chalmers, you brought up the whole, like, if you're a minor hockey team with some leftover funds from fundraising, a good way to use it would be to go to Vision VR Hockey Training.
Yeah, I contacted Struds after. So we did right off the bat in this season, we did a raffle, sort of selling tickets for a raffle. We fundraised and we raised quite a bit of money. It had to be used for player development. You need to get a permit to do these things. Part of the permit with AGLC is that this must be put towards player development. So we were kind of stuck because it can't buy ice right now. A lot of the facilities, they weren't open. During the lockdown, and so we couldn't spend any of the money. So we had a lot of cash to play with, and so I contacted Struddy about getting my team, and we've been working on a package. And honestly, for the amount of money we're paying, I cannot believe the amount of sessions that we are getting. These kids are going to get like 6 sessions at this place each, and they're gonna be able to just book it when they want. And it's just like, to me, it was the perfect way to do this, like to spend this money. So yeah, it's awesome. Anybody that wants to do it, this is a great idea.
Struddy, thoughts on that opening?
That sounds to me like I got to jack the price up a little bit. That's the kind of numbers we're talking about.
We raised a lot of money.
I thought I said 6 sessions total. Not 6 for each kid. There must have been some miscommunication.
The deals are so good that I'm going to have a kid just so I can start bringing them into this.
Whoa, all right.
I'm just kidding. I got to get the basement thing figured out first.
Yeah, Tyler's pregnant. That's okay.
Struddy, the game last night, the Oilers bounced back with just a huge win. What were some of your overall takeaways from their converted touchdown against the Calgary Flames?
Yeah, number one, I thought Markstrom had a tough night. He didn't look sharp. And listen, I'm not taking away from the Oilers' effort, but I thought he really had a tough night, and that kind of is difficult for a team when your goalie's fighting the puck. For the Oilers, I thought they didn't give up any really easy chances for the Flames. We saw in the previous game, between kind of a bobble puck in the neutral zone led to a goal. You've got Bear sliding up and pinching at the wrong time. It was too easy. So last night it was hard. The Flames had to earn every goal they got. They got a couple at the end, but to be honest, let's not get too worked up about that. But the Oilers made them work it, and Markstrom had a tough night, and the Oilers took full advantage.
It's one of those things where, like, I thought the Flames actually made a good amount of mistakes, like a lot of turnovers that probably shouldn't have been happening. But in the game on Monday, I felt like Edmonton also made a lot of mistakes. But to me, last night's game was a perfect example of how good this Oilers team can be if you give him an inch. Like, if you give McDavid or Draisaitl an inch or an extra chance in the offensive zone, they are going to take a mile and make you pay most of the time.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're such dangerous players. And that's the thing that when the Oilers have had tough time struggling with offense, the other team's done a really good job limiting their space and time. And I'm talking about Leon and Connor. They're picking them up in the offensive zone, so the Oilers' defensive zone, then staying with them. So as a forward, and then the D-man can just feel more comfortable standing up. But when you have guys busting through the seam, like think of Darnell Nurse's goal last night. Connor just gets a little bit of space on the outside, drives wide, drives low. He stops up because the D-man plays him a little soft, turns around, huge gap in the slot. Nurse walks in there and scores on Markstrom. Like, that's vintage Connor McDavid and what he does to teams. And if you're not going to stay close to him, he's going to get his speed, and then it's ugly. It's ugly.
Talking a little bit about the blue liners, there's 2 I want to ask you about this week. The first one is Tyson Barrie. I think every Oilers fan and people who cover and follow the team kind of sat there and could envision a scenario where this experiment worked out really well this year. But I didn't expect it to work this well. Has he surprised you with how productive he's been and how well he seems to have fit in here?
Well, what's really surprised me is how many Oilers fans are upset that he's doing well. I don't understand this. You
can't give us shiny things.
No, I mean, how many times have the Oilers bring in a free agent who hasn't worked? And not only is this guy working, he's leading the league in points. And now they're like, well, he shouldn't be doing it, or he's not. You're screwing over Bouchard. I'm like, how the guy is playing really, really well. And for what he does, he's not a defensive stalwart. The goal last night that were the first goal for the Flames, that's his guy. and he's not even around him. He's in the same zip code, but he's not the right house for the party. And Kachuk comes around, taps it in, and who was that? I think that was Lindholm's goal.
Lindholm,
yeah. That's not what he does, but he makes up for it with the good stuff he does with the puck on his stick. And what I love about him is that he's fearless with the puck on his stick, but also he jumps up and joins a rush, kind of like I just talked about Darnell Nurse. Like he comes in as that second wave of guys attacking the net. So yeah, like I don't get it. Now, if you want to talk about should they or should they not sign him, that's fine. But let's not be upset. The guy's under $4 million, cranking out points like crazy, helping on the power play. Darnell Nurse has never played better. I mean, yeah, he's got to be doing something right out there, or else not all these things would be going well.
The other defenseman that's caused a hot debate around Oilers Nation this week is Ethan Bear. Like my eyes, when I watch Ethan Bear, he doesn't feel like he's playing as well. He doesn't feel like he's playing as well as he was last season, but the analytics tell you he's better than he was last season. So where do you come out on Ethan Bear's play this season? Has he taken a step back, or is he just playing a smaller role?
Well, let's just look at the two Calgary games. I thought the first Calgary game, he really struggled. And, you can tell me anything you want about analytics, but when I see a guy whose baseline, most important job is moving the puck out of his own zone, he was fighting. I mean, he had a tough time. How many times did he get the puck and he was, it'd be an indecisive play or the wrong play or no play. And I know what those feel like. I've done them. Now you go to last night and see the way he played. Last night, I think he changed his mindset. When he got the puck, he was taking a step right away. And a lot of time for a D-man and a forward too, but especially for a D, when you get the puck and take a step, you get in motion and everything just kind of feels better after that. And you could see it, especially in the first period. You go back and watch the game, take a quick step, make a play, take a step, make a play. And I thought it was his best puck moving game of the year last night. So a really nice step forward for him, but he's not like he was last year. And I'm not interested in what those numbers say. I can see what he's on for more shots or not, but imagine if he was moving the puck as well as he could be. I think that's a big thing. So if he's not moving the puck, he's not what he's being good at. And I think that seeing that last night is a really positive experience for me. And I think we got Barry, Larson, and Bear, three guys on the right side. And there was a few years ago with it, who was it? Mark Dane and these types of guys.
Nikitin.
Yeah, Nicky. Oh man, Nicky Nikitin. Yeah, this guy. I'll tell you a quick story about that guy. So I have a friend. He sends me a text. He's like, "Hey, I found Nikitin's wife's purse in the parking lot at Safeway." He's like, "What should I do?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'll call the team." So I call the guy, one of the guys I knew on the team, and he's like, "Yeah, she says she can bring it over." I'm like, "No. That's not how this is going to work. She can go to him and thank him for getting it. He's not driving it over to your house." And they're like, "Oh yeah, of course." I couldn't believe it. Like, someone finds your purse, and we're gonna have to go and take it to you. I'd run through, the gates of hell to get my wallet back instead of having to get all those, big buck credit cards we've done.
That's not where I was expecting that answer to go, but that was a great story. Last night, we saw Chris Russell lose his skate blade and continue to battle. In your career, did you ever have one of those moments where your blade popped out and you were Bambi on the ice?
Oh, no. Well, I've been Bambi on the ice, but never because of my skate blades. But I think that, it does happen. And I actually thought he broke his foot. To be honest, when you're watching it from a distance, I'm like, oh my God, he broke his foot. And and then you see the replay, it literally hit it right off. So I actually think these blades come out easier than blades have been in 10, 15 years ago. But I love it. I love how Smitty just gives them a shove to the band shaft.
I think that says a lot about Chris Russell, that his skate blade pops out. He's continuing to battle and try and make plays, but in your mind, you're like, he might have broken his foot, and he's the type of guy who would break his foot and be like, "Fuck it, I'm finishing this shift."
He's such a gritty guy. You know what the best part about him is? And the Oilers have him signed for $1.25 next year. Yeah. And what's going to change between now and there for him? He'll get a year older, fair enough, but he still gets around well. He still is a battler. So to have that guy as your 6'7" next year, I think that is something that Oilers fans should be really happy. I think that's it's a mismatch. If you go look at other teams 6'7", I think Chris Russell is better than most 6'7s this year, but especially next year for them to win it.
Yeah, now that he's down at $1.25, that's going to be a great deal. What's up, Chalmers? You're muted, man. I'm sorry. We can't hear you. You got on mute. There you go.
I wanted to ask him a player perspective question. It might be a stupid question, but at 7-1, when they scored that second goal in the third period, and the siren goes off and the flames go off and then the announcer says it as if there's like a packed house in there. When you're down 7-1 at that point, are you on the bench kind of being like, I don't want to hear that like right now? Like that's not helping. Like, is it annoying? Do they roll their eyes, or is it like, fuck yeah, there we go. Let's make them feel like shit for letting us have one. I didn't know how to take that, because I know that if I was Calgary, I was like, right when I heard it, I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Like,
hey, you gotta play for your next contract.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, those things are all pre-planned, right? So as a player, you are embarrassed. Like, hey, nice goal, let's just skate off and get out of here. Like, you can't, you're getting piss pounded 7-1 by your rivals, and your new coach is on the bench. Like, do you think he's really that happy? So yeah, that's not a time to be celebrating. Although, if you like, I remember I scored it was like 7-1. I scored like the one goal against Patrick Roy. I was so happy. I didn't care. I'm like, yes, I scored. Like, suck on it, Patrick Roy. But that was about it. That was the only good thing that happened the whole game. That and the game ending.
Good stuff as always, Struddy. Appreciate your time, man. We'll talk again next week.
Yeah, see you guys then.
There you go. That is Jason Strudwick. As always, he is for Vision VR Hockey Training. Train your hockey brain to see the plays to make with off-ice reps on their VR training system. They're in St. Albert. VisionVRHockey.com. Perfect for your minor hockey club. Shout out to Struddy for figuring out how to hop out of the Zoom call this week as well. First time he's done that. Bag Milk is here now, and he is ready to bless us with his takes. BM, How are you?
Well, Jay tweeted something this morning. Very exciting. And my phone hasn't stopped ringing since. So that's why I'm late. I was having a nice little discussion with one Robert Brown.
What's going on here? What did I miss?
Yeah.
You guys have been alluding to this shit.
I work for the Nation, and I don't know what's going on. I just see Jay be like, big news. And I'm like, whoa, that's not good that I don't know what's happening.
It's so funny. Yaremchuk is not, like, we do weekly team calls on Tuesdays.
That I'm not on.
Yaremchuk is a giant. Well, fuck you. When do you have time?
Because you're in the air.
Yaremchuk's a big part of what we do, and he's never on the calls and privy to anything that's going on. So I got to alert the team on Tuesday about what's kind of going on.
This happened 2 days ago, and no one gave me the heads up.
Well, it's because we're
call me after, Tyler. I got fucking phone calls coming up for the rest of the day, so I'll add you to.
Who else called you, Bag Milk?
I talked to Steinberg down in Calgary. I talked to Brownlee. I had a very long conversation with Ryan Pike. I talked to
nobody knows what any of this means. What did you tweet? Jesus.
Oh, I teased about how today, because today is an official day of something official and monumental happened today, and we're gonna work as a team on how we're going to release this information. So I want
you to sound like a politician.
He does sound like a politician.
What?
So he did create a buzz. Apparently I am, and that's
so
good.
It did. So anybody who, whether I'm their contact for day to day or whatever it is, I've had a very busy day on the phone today.
You're welcome.
If you didn't see Jay's tweet, he said, today is a monumental day for Oilers Nation, the Nation Network, and our entire team. Can't wait to share the details with you. Stay tuned. And most importantly, thank you for all your support. We can't do any of this without you. Basically, Jay, it's a chance for the Nation Network to grow, right?
It's pretty self-explanatory in that tweet if you really want to dissect it. It's all there.
I don't even know what we're talking about. What is happening?
We'll formally. So this is actually like press release worthy. So we're going to be publicly announcing it next week. We're going to do articles and create some content for all the sites about it, and it's just going to tell the story about what's next.
What's next is cool. But you got to wait for it. But
you got to wait for it.
People that have my phone number decided that they didn't want to wait for it, so that's where I was. What kind of takes you want, Tyler? Mike Smith cheering at the end of the game, love it.
No. Before we get to that, was that a flip phone you were on?
Me? No.
Oh wow, that thing looks like a brick. What iPhone is that?
It looked like a flip phone. We were talking about like Bagman appears to be on a flip phone. I'm like,
iPhone 11 Pro.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
It looked like a Motorola Razr for a second.
I wish I still had a Motorola Razr. I'll have my old StarTAC.
StarTAC was legendary.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll just keep going with the Oilers talk now. There's nothing else to talk about with this announcement. We're good.
I can't.
Oh God, I just can't even think about what we're talking about because of this exciting announcement that you guys aren't going to tell anybody till an undisclosed time.
I don't know what's going on.
Clearly, it's working, Charles. You're excited. I'm excited.
Well, what's Bag? You look what you're doing to your people. Bag Milk's got to be on the phone all morning answering questions to having to answer the questions he doesn't know how to anser. Look at this.
Bag Milk knows.
The thing is, I do have the answer.
Okay, well, I'll call you in a bit. I'll call you in a bit, Bag Milk. I'll be calling you at the end of this podcast.
Okay, well, you can call me again, but then that means, Chalmers, you need to jump on Risky Business again, or else I ain't telling you shit.
Buddy, if I don't, then I'm gonna be mad. The legions of fans that went with me last night are gonna be mad because.
And you had a great night.
We're bankrolling for the weekend, baby. That was a lot of fun.
You had a good night betting too.
I can't believe I hit Risky Business like in the first period. I'm like, okay, this is never gonna happen again. Like it was. Yeah, it's crazy. I would love to come off
like a legend. You've come off like a legend, and now the audience is going to be thirsty. You need to deliver the picks.
No, you should retire.
That's what I was just going to say.
No, you double down.
Should I just retire, or should I double down tonight and go 0 for 4 and have to put out a Instagram story with all losers over top of my stupid picks? Oh man,
it was fun though. Like, you know what? I liked having you on yesterday, Chalmers, because it's better to talk to somebody and have some bets in place. And you did the same bets that I did, so it was perfect.
Yeah, it was fun. And it did feel a little rushed. I'm not going to lie. What
10 minutes
to talk about?
It was
good. No, because you know what? I said it felt rushed, but I'll tighten it up this next time. Because what I found was a lot of people jumped in like at the 7-minute mark and only heard the last 3 minutes. And people were saying to me, like, well, what did you guys talk about? And I said, look, it's the easiest of re-listens. Like, it's 10 minutes. Like,
10 minutes.
Go back and watch it, right? And so that's what's good about keeping it short. I think it's a good a word I don't know. I can't think of right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think it's going to work good. Like Risky Business, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Risky Business, an hour before puck drop on Instagram Live, we talk a little bit of sports betting. I do 4 different bets if you want to join in. I've got my bet of the game. I've got easy money. I got Risky Business, and then the can't miss parlay. So if you want to join in with any of those 4 bets, that would be fantastic.
And what time again? An hour before the game?
Hour before puck drop. Quick 10 minutes of bet and talk. We'll be degenerates together. We'll bet with our hearts. I will read some stuff from our friends at OddsShark.com about the game. Whether we use it or not is up to you.
What's puck drop tonight?
7.
7.
Jack and Louie on the call for all those people who don't want the Flames broadcast anymore.
As I was talking to Brownlee and I had one earphone in, so I was kind of listening to you, kind of listening to Brownlee talk about stories from 1936. I think you're wrong, Tyler. I think yes, Jack and Louie are a little bit homers, but they are not as heavy as the Flames broadcast crew. Like last night, the Oilers scored first, and they said they took a play out of the Flames playbook. Whose playbook isn't to score fucking first?
That's a good point.
You know what? Okay. I don't know because I didn't hear that one. But what else? Like, can you key in on it? Maybe that just started everybody getting the blinders on. Because that is pretty stupid. Like everybody's
the Flames was the only team in the NHL that really have a plan of scoring first. But then it got into like 7-2, Willie Legs, get the little giveaway, 7-2, okay, fine, 7-3, and then I don't remember who it was. They're like, oh, I don't know, the Flames might still be in this thing, and there's 5 minutes left. They're not in it. So
that's their job.
I agree. That's their job, and that's what you're listening for on a Flames broadcast. But I don't think that when we listen to Jack and Louie tonight, if the Oilers are pumping the Jets, that we'll go, well, they're still.
Well, what was nice about last night is there wasn't Eric Francis. That guy, he goes too far.
The color guy sounded a lot like Kelly Rudy.
It was Kelly Rudy.
It was Kelly Rudy.
Oh my God, it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was the dudes
They show his face all the time.
Yeah, you know what?
I
had the earphones in. I was doing a lot of stuff last night. I'm a busy fucking guy. You guys, I got a household to attend to. I got
I'll tell you, this guy that looks like Kelly Rudy sounds like him too.
But since when is Kelly Rudy the fucking Flames guy though? Since when has that been?
For a while.
Boy, this color announcer's, he's pretty good. He's no Kelly Rudy,
Dude,
but
I thought-
he's good. He kind of sounds like him.
I could have
He's a
sworn
poor
it was
man's
the bald
Kelly
guy
Rudy.
and the bald guy and the other guy who kept talking to whatever
Brendan
old
Morrison
snuff that
and
they were
Matt
talking-
Stajan.
Yeah.
Oh God, that was painful. Okay, well, that's why he sounded like Kelly Rudy, because it was Kelly Rudy. I don't listen to the Flames broadcast very often. The fuck am I supposed to know that when I'm not paying attention to the game? All I care about is my bets.
Like, this color guy's good, but it would be nice if they could get Kelly Rudy on some of these
Yeah,
games
imagine.
going forward.
This guy looks a lot like a goalie that used to play for the Kings in the 90s, you know?
Can't put my finger on it. Okay, before we keep going, I need to give some love to our friends at manscaped.com. They are all in on the hockey season. They love the NHL, and they love us. We love them. It's a good relationship we got going on, and we love the listeners as well. So we're giving you 20% off at manscaped.com. Head to the website, change your currency to Canadian. If you're in Canada, maybe you're not, and you're listening to this podcast, punch in the promo code REALLIFE. You get 20% off, free shipping, anything on their website. I am a big fan of their Lawnmower 3.0 and its skin-safe technology. Fantastic stuff. Their boxers are very comfortable as well. You get those when you buy either the perfect package or the performance package. So manscaped.com, check them out.
I really hope the shirt shrinks that it came with.
It didn't come with a shirt.
Mine came with a shirt.
You got a shirt?
No,
I got a shirt.
What? I didn't get a shirt.
I got a shirt too.
Oh, your M Chuck.
It says Manscaped?
No shirt for your M Chuck.
Like everywhere.
And it's
Says your balls will
soft.
thank
It's a
you
nice
on the
t-shirt.
shirt.
Oh, man. Now I'm a little disappointed I
Don't
didn't get a
worry, it
shirt.
wouldn't fit you. You look lanky. It wouldn't fit you.
Okay.
Skinny.
You can have my
All
game
right.
more. You can have my game worn shirt, Tyler.
Game one. Can you sign it for me?
Absolutely.
We're going to be talking a little more betting with Scott Hastings coming up in just a second here. But one of the things I wanted to talk about. Okay, we've now seen Mike Smith for 16 games this season. He continues to play really, really well. Like, his numbers are good. Is there a point where we need to have a conversation about them bringing back soon to be 39-year-old Mike Smith next season? Or is this like the last hurrah? Jay, you're nodding your head. You think there's a conversation to be had about bringing him back?
Maybe not as our starter, but the guy is a leader, and he's clearly determined to stick around. So, and he's playing phenomenal right now. We can't argue that. So, yeah, why not still have him on the team?
The type of
but not as your
radio
starter.
I was told we were not going to do. Talk radio about Mike Smith coming back next year, you guys. Let's just worry about our playoff run, having a good time, scoring some goals,
winning some money,
getting the playoffs, winning a playoff series.
Okay, then I'll change gears to something here and the now. Jay, did you post the job posting that I wrote for you somewhere? Because I'm getting a bunch of emails from random people asking for jobs.
Yes.
Oh my God.
How much having a hell of a day
for this guy today?
I just get an email. It refreshes. My Nation email refreshes, and it's like 6 new emails, and it's all the same thing. And I'm like, what is happening right now?
I am Tyler Yaremchuk, and you are his in-laws' house. I am flooding you with shit today. Yeah, I sent that over to our friends at Nate.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, I was very confused to get all these. I was like, okay, well,
we're hiring. Can I apply?
Well,
everybody saw Jay's
I
tweets,
guess.
and now they're blowing me up.
Momentum.
Are we expanding to Vegas? Are we expanding to Vegas with our betting show?
Chalmers will be our Vegas correspondent.
We're gonna do a live risky business in Vegas when we go down there next season.
Would that be
Disc Golf Nation is well underway, and that's what this is all about.
Disc golf. Oh man. Okay, so can we talk about disc golf for the 4 minutes before Scott comes on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That really struck a chord.
Got a lot of flow
people.
here today.
This podcast is all over the place, but it always is. Yeah, anyways,
We've only talked Oilers. What are you talking about? We've been all over the place.
Well, we're trying to talk Oilers, but you're derailing the Oilers.
I was like, hey, let's talk about Mike Smith, and you were really like, shut the fuck up. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, your best friend, Mike Smith, we're trying to talk about. We're trying to put it on a tee for you to share personal stories of you and Mike Smith, and you shat on it.
This one time I got really close to him and I could smell the side of his armpit because that's how tall he is and that's how short I am. Nobody wants to hear about that. They want to talk about disc golf.
Clearly.
Do you think I get DMs? Do you think I get DMs after about like, oh man, your Oilers analysis was spot on? I didn't even know it was fucking Kelly Rudy last night. Like, come on, let's talk about things that get some press.
I'm willing to talk about disc golf. Trust me, I'm getting more in
No.
Let's talk about Oilers.
No, disc golf. Because someone texted into the radio show and was like, "Hey, I'm the president of the disc golf association. Let me know what you want to do." Like, this is a big deal.
How many emails did you get about bringing back Mike Smith next year?
A lot. People
0.
also like coming to me for my analysis.
Yeah, but that exact question. Yeah. Okay. Disc golf. I got an email from one Eric Moon. He's a very avid listener and a good guy. And he said that he is part of the Edmonton Association of Disc Golf and also part of the Pro Disc Golf Association. He has a membership to both. He plays 4 times a week. And so I said, okay, I got 7 questions. So I asked him, do they have a beer cart girl? Like, how much does it cost to play? Where are these courses? What do I need to bring so I don't look like a noob to the very first time I go and play? You know, like, I got good golf course etiquette, but, you know, disc golf might be a little different. And he just gave me a whole bunch of instruments. They have a Thursday night league. Basically, every Thursday night in the summertime, if you're part of the Edmonton Disc Golf Association, you can go play in a little men's night, maybe it's everybody night. Sorry. But they have also like all these different types of discs. He's like, dude, if you need a hookup, I've got so many discs. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, we need a hookup.
See, we do one podcast about disc golf. Now we're going to have a team in a league. Like we're making progress here.
We're going to have a tournament. There's 2 things we need to talk about as summer sports more. And now that I've know more about it is disc golf. The other one is lawn bowling. But anyways, we'll park lawn bowling for another day. Continue with the disc golf.
Let's table that and circle back in my best business conference wording. But Tyler, you're sitting back in your seat. You got the most impressive email about disc golf, and that was from who? The president of the Edmonton Disc Golf Association.
Yeah, sorry, I was eating jelly beans actually and sitting back in my seat. They were on sale at Costco, the big bag. I love them. Yeah, I think
found out Kaylor Yamamoto, big disc golf guy, yesterday.
Yeah, we did, which was weird timing, right?
Right.
Yeah, the universe works in magical ways.
Do you want to be on the ground floor of this or not, you Chuck? Sitting back in your chair eating Costco shit. We're making moves here right now. We are starting shit. We're trying to hustle. Look, this is the next big revenue stream, disc golf.
When we're on top,
yeah, man, like I'll do it. I'll go fucking play disc golf.
It's approachable. It's affordable.
Yeah.
It's outside in the summer.
You don't just play disc golf, you Chuck. You don't just play disc golf. You live disc golf. You breathe disc golf. And when you sit back, you eat a Costco-sized bag of disc golf. Okay.
Yep. You go in for samples on disc golf.
You're either in or you're disc golf out, and I don't get it.
We're gonna be on top of the mountain, and I want you there with us, buddy. You need to change your attitude.
We can actually. The beauty is, I think we can actually throw with COVID. We could throw a disc golf event because it's outside, 100%. It's safe.
Would we have to disinfect the discs?
Oh, everyone uses their own.
You have to BYOD. You have to BYODs.
Okay. Yep.
Bring your own discs.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Really, Bag Milk? Was
Thanks.
Was that as bad as me not knowing it was Kelly Rudy? Would we have to disinfect the disc?
Okay, we're bringing in our friend Scott Hastings from OddsShark, oddshark.com. Everything you need to make the sharper play. Scotty Hastings.
We have a question. We have a question for Scott. I know you're going to go on this rant, Tyler, but we always have to interrupt you. Scott, are you a disc golfer?
Yeah.
What?
That's like not a popular thing out here yet.
Well, it's not a popular thing anywhere, but we're trying to get it.
We're
there.
making it.
We're going to bring Scott in on the ground floor. He'll be our Eastern correspondent.
Yes,
that's great.
He can lay the odds for the event.
I have heard local government or people talking to local government about getting more disc golf courses, but at this point, I think right now they have like little cages around some like walking trails. So that's the best they've got right now. But apparently, it is in the works.
I feel like that could almost be dangerous to just like have them by walking trails. Like how far is like the average drive for an adult male in disc golf? Like if I'm
let's see.
Like
buddy,
50,
I'll throw these things over
60 yards?
Oh no, I would think probably what's like 65 meters in yards. Does anybody know that?
Oh yeah, let me just off the top of my head figure that out.
Like 200 yards?
Okay.
Really?
Oh no, 65 meters in yards. Oh, it'd be like 71.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Okay.
It's pretty
Yeah,
close.
I think a far disc golf drive would be like 80 yards.
200
like
to 300 feet. Between 200 and 300 feet, according to the PDGA.
So there you go. Scott, that's what we've been talking about on our Oilers podcast. Anyways, last week I wanted
For the
to
last 3 minutes.
Last week I wanted to talk to you a little bit about in-game betting. And I've always heard that like basketball is a good sport to watch the in-game odds on because there's a lot of fluctuation in the point runs. In hockey, is there a way to find an edge in that?
Yeah, we have a great article up on our website done by Stephen Campbell, and there's some interesting things. You know what's different about like football or basketball as far as in-game betting compared to hockey is when one team goes up 1-0, the odds become like -200, -250, and it's not really worth making a bet on unless that team was already a huge underdog. Like going against Tampa Bay or something, you might be able to still get some value. But one of the lines that really stood out to me is the Los Angeles Kings, when leading after the first period, are 6-0 to win the game, but they have an average point differential or goal differential of 3.17. So that's interesting because you may not get the value betting on them on the money line, but you can always get them at a goal and a half. And that an average win margin of 3 goals. You know, the Kings, you could probably still get at a goal and a half after the first period. You probably still get at plus money. So I thought that was really intriguing.
What about on the other side, like a team who maybe goes down by 1, but is showing that they're maybe good at bouncing back? Do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, not many teams have a plus goal differential after losing after the first, which is probably not surprising. Although the Tampa Bay Lightning are 5-3 when losing after the first period, and they're the only team with a plus goal differential. So if the Bolts go down after the first, it's not a bad play to take them. But there's plenty of teams that have a plus goal differential after just giving up the first goal. So that's definitely an interesting one. Tampa Bay, after giving up the first goal of the game, after giving up the first goal of the game, they're 9-5 straight up. So definitely a team to watch if they ever go down. But I think that's sort of a no-brainer. You know, Tampa Bay is legit, probably the best team in the NHL. So anytime they're down, if you can get that at a pretty good value, it's not a bad bet to take the Bolts.
Scott, I want to ask you a question about parlays, since I'm doing a little betting thing pregame now for the Oilers. And one of my bets every game is a can't miss parlay. When you're going to set up a parlay, do you have any kind of formula of what you're looking for to put one of those together? Or is it it varies by the day, who's playing who? Is there any rhyme or reason or no?
Yeah, I think it's just, I like to go with a bit of a variety personally. So, you know, each week I've been given a little 3-leg parlay that keeps getting screwed by the +1.5 dogs. It's killing me. 2 and 3s every week. Although a single bet 66%, you'd be raking in the dough, and I've been hitting the underdog. But I like to sort of vary it up with like a pretty decent favorite somewhere in that -160 to -190 range. Then I look for an underdog that I really like, which is going to boost that odds, making it worth the parlay. Because you don't want to do, Joe Osborne greasy money line parlay. Of course it'll hit, but for hockey, it's extremely difficult in that sense that many favorites go down. So I like a pretty sizable favorite, a dog that I like. And usually I'm not going to go for a huge one like, Buffalo over Washington. That's a dicey underdog. I'm looking one that's a little closer to that 120, 130 range, +120, +130. And then I like to throw in a +1.5. For a game that I think is going to be a tighter game. Of course, that's blown up in my face. So I sort of like to go with that as my trio of parlay picks.
And what's the sweet spot for you? How many games? 3? Or do you like 2s? 4's too many?
Yeah, I think 3 is a really nice spot. I've got 4 for today, just because I'm pissed off and might as well get another one in there. We're gonna get a winner this week, boys. But no, I think 3 it's a very manageable number. once you start getting 4 and 5, it gets fun, it gets exciting. But more times than not, you're not hitting that. So I think 3 is a very manageable sweet spot, especially if you throw in an underdog. If you're sticking with sort of juicier favorites, yeah, sure, 4 or 5 might be more your angle. But I think if you throw in a dog, a 3 spot is very nice.
When we were texting earlier today, Scott, you mentioned an uptick in fighting, and I'm very interested. What does that uptick look like? Of course, we are partnered with hockeyfights.com. Shout out to Hockey Fights and the new John Scott Dropping the Gloves podcast. But is there like a betting angle to more fights in the NHL?
There was early in the season, and they've put the odds up here and there of just how many fights would be out there this year. I'm trying to look very quickly on our website because we did have an article on it and I can't seem to find it. But I've just noticed in general that I'm seeing almost every night that there's another fight. It just over the last few years, it's just sort of seemed like, not a lot of grit. You'd see goalies get smoked and there was no repercussions. And I've seen it a lot more. And maybe that's just teams playing each other more and more often, that they're getting a little more testy, or that, they're showing some teams like Boston. Boston for years have always had high-end skill, but they were a hard team to play against. And I felt a team like Toronto always struggled in those situations. Then they bring in a player like Kyle Clifford, and Wayne Simmons this year was dropping the mitts. So just seeing things like that, I think there's been an uptick in fights all around. I did see on hockeyfights.com, another shout out to them, that every team has at least 1 fight this year, and 2/3 of the league have had at least 5 fights this year. So I love seeing that. I also have the odds up here. They had it broken down by division, and this looks like it was early January, so towards the start of the season. But Brady Tkachuk, Austin Watson were the 2 favorites to lead the North Division. I think Brady Tkachuk is definitely up in the mix there. Barclay Goodrow and Patrick Maroon were the favorites to win the Central. Nicholas Delorier and Ryan Reeves to win the West. Ryan Reeves makes sense. And over to the East, Tom Wilson and Ross Johnston. So again, Tom Wilson. That's what you would expect.
So speaking of hockey fights, since we brought it up, I can't help but take this minute to just say, I looked at a post the other day, and guess who commented on it? The one guy that everybody says they were scared of.
Smack.
Steve McIntyre.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
Smacker.
He's a fan. He's a fan. That's unbelievable. It's so cool. I love seeing that. Yeah.
Scott, I want to talk the last sort of betting area I wanted to get to with you, the Calder Trophy race. I mean, to me, this feels like Kirill Kaprizov's to lose. I'm actually on the hunt for a Kaprizov jersey. That's how big of a fan of his I am. Are the odds showing him running away with this thing, or is it closer?
I'm hearing some laughter. Not a fan of Kaprizov?
Where is he trying to find this jersey is what I'm thinking of. Are you going online to try to find this?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it online.
Like, is this a super hot item? Like,
I'm Googling. I'm Googling Kirill Kaprizov Minnesota Wild reverse retro jersey, and like the Adidas website is sold out of them.
Yeah.
Might be literally the last jersey I ever bought. But go ahead.
Have you not been watching this guy, man?
He's
electric.
Special.
Yeah, he's filthy.
Yeah.
He makes Minnesota enjoyable.
Yeah,
Minnesota
changed him.
Didn't even know he played for Minnesota until this moment.
Yeah, well, you're on a fucking hockey podcast, Chalmers, so step it up there, big guy.
Like way back in like the Jacques Lemaire days, like Minnesota was just atrocious to watch. Just that trap. Hey, they made the playoffs, so I can't hate as a Leafs fan who didn't make the playoffs for so long. But Kaprizov, he's so filthy, and he's so smart with the puck.
Yeah,
he doesn't force anything. He just seems to know what to do with it, and I think that's sort of a weird statement to make. But when you watch him, he just doesn't make many mistakes. So he's actually minus 160 favorite now. I would never bet on a minus favorite to win a futures bet, especially with still about half the season to go. I think there's still some value on Tim Stützle, plus 750 for the Sens, but because Ottawa's been so trash, I don't think that he'll get the votes that he should maybe deserve. The other thing that's interesting is Kaprizov's 23 and has played professional hockey outside the NHL. I think back of like Sidney Crosby, Alexander Ovechkin. Of course, Ovechkin had the 1 year pro hockey during the lockout that many people thought he shouldn't have won the award over Sid, but he did. So I think Kaprizov is definitely going to win it this year. I just don't like the value.
Scott, as always, man. Oh no! Before we let you go, let's get our parlay today.
Dude, we need this.
I'm trying to make some money here, Tyler.
People Jones in here. You almost got ousted from the pod here.
We're going to dismantle Tyler's
before you give your picks. Last night on Risky Business, I hit the correct score for the first period, 2-0 Oilers at a +1 or 1,200.
Nice. I had the Oilers outright, so I was happy with that too. The boys came through.
Look at us, just a couple of bettors talking it out, eh?
That's right. And the Jets, the Jets keep being underdogs. That's foolish. I don't know why they keep making them underdogs.
So hot right now. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I just went and saw Pierre-Luc Dubois is plus money to get a point tonight.
I saw one on Bovada also that was interesting, and it was they've got specials. And one of them was like Connor McDavid and Victor Hedman to each get half an assist or one assist each. And it was like plus 150. And I'm like, I guess I can sprinkle a little bit on that one, you know. The boys,
no-brainer.
Well, yeah, that seems pretty good. All right, 4-leg parlay. We've got, or you can single bet, of course, because we've always get screwed by one. So hopefully we can go at least 3-1 for this 4-picker. But I like Pittsburgh against New Jersey. I like New Jersey a lot this year, but yeah, they can't string it together for whatever reason. And Heischer out again with surgery for the next 3 weeks. That's tough to see. So I like Pittsburgh. I like the Islanders. Oh, Pittsburgh, sorry, about -170. I like the Islanders -140 after over Philly. Philly got embarrassed yesterday. They're going to come out firing, but I think they're going to lose again because that Islanders team they just keep winning. Can't hate them. I'm going with the Jets again. Sorry for your Oilers. Sorry, here, boys.
We can't bet this now.
No, we can't this parlay.
It's going to lose.
That's 3-1.
I can't not bet on them as an underdog. It's just they're just such on fire. I can't do it. I hate to say it.
Good luck with that.
And then. But if you want another dog to replace for Winnipeg, and this is why I threw this in there, I also like Minnesota against Colorado. I'm taking them +1.5 at -190. But if you want to replace it for a full dog, I don't hate Minnesota outright beating Colorado. And, Chalmers, your boy Kaprizov, is going to be dynamite tonight.
Son, fucking love this guy. That's you know what? I got it. They're going to win because of him.
Scott,
right.
So the parlay is the Islanders, Penguins, Jets, and Wild. But if you just want to go with 3 because you're an Oilers fan, like a lot of people listening to this podcast,
he knows
take the
what
Jets
he's doing
out.
when he does that.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he's doing when he does that on this.
Well,
on
just
this
add the Oilers, flip the script, go 4 games, but make the Oilers the winner, and that thing plays plus 982.
There we go.
If you just go Penguins, Islanders, and Wild though on the money line, it is plus 550. So good parlay, Scott. Love it.
Here we go, fellas.
Don't let him go, Scott. March Madness starts Friday.
Oh yeah.
Well, how about you in that? Do you care? Are you a big March Madness fan?
Oh yeah, I love college hoops. We have a contest going on at OddsShark with 16 different cappers that are putting out our best bets for each round. I think we got 16 for the opening round, 8 for the following round, and so on and so forth. I think we got 31 picks all together. So that's found on the website. It's going to be hard to knock off Gonzaga, that's for sure.
It really is. So I got then 2 questions. Gonzaga doesn't exist. Who you have?
I don't like Michigan because of Isaiah Livers going down. So I don't trust Michigan right now. They sketched me out. Illinois is really tough. I'd probably go Baylor. And then, I don't know, somebody out of the East. And I'm not sure who's coming out of that East. I don't think it's going to be Michigan. So whoever comes out of the East.
Number 2, that would be Michigan probably. So number 2, who is, you don't think so, eh? Okay, number 2 is, who's your Cinderella this year?
Ooh.
Who's going to make a run? Who's going to make a run between that 5 to 10?
If Ohio can get through the first round, they could be sneaky. The Ohio Bobcats. No. The Bobcats.
No, I know. Yeah. I know the Ohio State you're saying. I'm saying Oklahoma State.
Yeah, but I don't
going
think
to Elite
they're
Eight,
not
but-
really a Cinderella as a 4 seed with Cade Cunningham. So, yeah, they could go deep. LSU, too, is very sneaky. They have an incredible offense.
I haven't watched a lick of college basketball, but all I'm going to be watching for the next month.
Hell yeah. Enjoy.
I love it. Yeah.
Got to get you on a March Madness podcast there, Chalmers. Scott, appreciate your time, man. Thanks for this.
Take care.
A non-hockey podcast.
Go
This is not a hockey podcast.
Yeah. Get out of here, Scott Hastings from
All
OddsShark.
right, take care, guys. Have fun.
Thanks, buddy.
OddsShark.com. Everything you need to make the sharper play.
I'm
OddsShark.com.
going to say it every time you say that to me, that this is a hockey podcast. It's called Real Life. ON Radio is the hockey podcast. We talk about hockey on a real life podcast. That's what I was sold. What was I sold? A bill of goods? JR?
Hey, what happened in real life? The Oilers played last night, so we have to talk about it.
March Madness is in real life.
Yeah,
And
I
golf
am
is
excited for March
basically
Madness.
all of life.
I got
Disc
to.
golf is soon to be part of real life.
Okay,
Yes.
one more suggestion. Has anybody ever heard of this show, Bjork Stand, also known as Beartown?
No.
It is a new 5-part show on HBO. It is located in a small town in Sweden, and it revolves around a junior hockey team. That's all I'm going to say. Just watch it.
Is it good?
Oh, man.
That does sound
Trust
good.
me, watch it. It is so.
It's on which?
the very first-
What's it on?
HBO. So crazy.
HBO. It's on HBO.
So Crave. Okay.
great.
You know what I watched? Completely non-sports related the other day, and it made me feel really nostalgic. And I was curious. I wanted to ask Tyler about it because he's younger than the rest of us. I watched The Last Blockbuster on Netflix, and the Last Blockbuster is in Oregon right now, and it's still open through COVID. They're still doing their thing, and it's still exactly what you remember from a Blockbuster. As I was watching it, fuck, that made me nostalgic for walking through the aisles and just weeding through and picking movies out and stuff. Tyler, did you ever do that, or is that
Yeah.
does that just make me feel way older than I am?
No. That was still like, I mean, by the time I'm trying to remember, when would Blockbuster have closed here, like in Edmonton? But I still remember as a kid, like before we would go on like a trip, we'd always go to Panorama. That was like our yearly family vacation. So before we'd go to Panorama, you got to like go to the video store and pick out 3 movies to watch, like on your little portable DVD player on the drive out or whatever. And I totally remember getting to go to Blockbuster and all that as a kid. And there was a Rogers Video right by my house too.
Were you guys like me, and instead of going on Friday at 5 o'clock after work like all the other dumb shit, you went on Thursday instead so you could get the copy of what you wanted for the weekend? Sure, you only had it till Saturday night. But hey, who cares? Who's watching on Saturday anyways? Did you ever get to what a magical time it was once a year when your parents would let you rent like the brand new video game system?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! And like 2 games.
I was living.
Oh, was it ever?
It was funny too, like as they were going through the documentary talking about, there's people coming into this active Blockbuster and they're renting movies. And I forgot about stuff because it's been a while since I've done it, right? Where it's like, you got an old movie, a new movie, and then something else. And you're like, okay, this one has to be back in 48 hours. This one you've got until next Tuesday. And then this one is 3 weeks from now. And you're just like, okay. And then the late fees, the whole thing. If you haven't watched it and you're in your 30s, or if you're a little bit older, the Last Blockbuster was fucking great.
Is it a
milk, I bet.
limited series or a movie?
Movie.
Okay.
Hour and a half.
Cool.
Bag milk. I bet the flapping wooden doors really brought back some memories for you, eh? Trying to sneak a peek underneath them as you walk past the triple X section. You seem like the type of guy that went in there and was like, oh my God, and then looked around, got as much of a look as you. Yeah, I know you did.
Growing up, small town, it wasn't a Blockbuster. It was just like an independent. Theirs wasn't the wooden doors. It was the hanging beads from the 70s. So you would walk in there and you'd hear like you peek your head around and look at like titties. And then like, I remember the thing that I remember the most when I was a little kid, the titles and how obnoxious the titles were on adult films.
Like what?
Sunk in. Oh, I don't know, like
anything
Star
string
Wars?
together.
Yeah, whatever, just anything ever. Backyard bitches 65. I don't know, whatever.
All right. Before we go, this
I
is
used to always try to find my dad. I used to always try to find my dad when we were leaving Blockbuster, and then I'd have to go open the door and say, "Dad, let's go." Just kidding.
This is an odd transition, but we need to give some love to our friends at Twig and Berries before we wrap up this week's podcast. A good local company making some good local products. twigandberries.ca. You can use the promo code Nation15. It gets you 15% off everything on the site. Not just their nutsack underwear, which is incredibly comfortable. Not wearing mine today. It is in the wash, but it is back in the rotation soon. But they also have some great shirts, some great hoodies, a bunch of lifestyle apparel. Good stuff from Twig and Berries. No judgment, no shaming, no fancy words, just real men. twigandberries.ca, promo code Nation15. All right. I think it's time to wrap up the pod here. Electronic Jordan's in my DMs telling me to make this podcast amazing. And then he asked for a shout out. So I killed two birds with one stone there.
Well, lastly, then I'll finish off with this, Tyler. How about this? March 16th, peanut butter pickle time. Left a 5-star review entitled Irish Butter. Hands down, the best podcast I listen to. Nothing makes my day more than listening to you, Remchuk, struggle through an ad read while the boys ramble on about God knows what. Keep up the good work. Hashtag Chalmers cheated. That is a 5-star.
That I love that from the title to the ending. Great review. Thank you.
Love it.
Please keep hitting us up with your reviews. I will read them. I promise you. I will read them.
Also, shout out to Surveyor Brett, who's been like clipping audio and sending it to me from the episodes. And there's been some good ones in there. I'm going to go see if I can just quickly pull one up here. Where was this one? Oh, hit the wrong button. Here you go. Fuck me, you guys. Fuck me, you guys. I might make that one of the buttons on Oilers Nation Radio. Is just me going, fuck me, you guys. All right. Episode 265 of the Real Life Podcast.
My balls are smooth. My balls are smooth. My balls are smooth.
My voice is so whiny. All right. Shout out to Scott Hastings. Shout out to Struddy as well for joining us today on the pod. Chalmers.
What?
Go watch Kirill Kaprizov highlights, man. You're missing out.
Yeah.
No,
March Madness is coming out. That'll be fun. But
it doesn't mean that I don't like hockey any less than you because I don't watch Minnesota Wild highlights every night. Come on. Let's go play some hockey one day, and then we'll show you who the hockey man is.
I would love that opportunity. I really would.
Be fun. I think it would be
too.
great.
One of my favorite things that we do, well, generally pre-COVID, was, hey, Jay, around when we do our Christmas party and we play a little shinny for an hour or so, that's one of my favorite things.
When you guys used to do it around Little Brick, it looked magical.
Well,
if anyone out there knows where we can rent a little bit of ice, I can get us a few goalies. We'll make sure, COVID safe and all that. And maybe we can get a little game of shinny going at some point, like over the summer here, rent a little ice, get out there, all that good stuff.
I would propose that we should have a Christmas party this summer. I definitely agree with that. We should play some puck and we should play afternoon round of disc golf.
We get to make it a whole day.
Now, if you were to do a disc golf tournament, would you do it like a scramble?
Maybe.
You have to disinfect the
See, that goes back to my point. You got to disinfect the discs.
All right. I'm gonna wrap this thing up. Episode 265 of the Real Life Podcast. Shout out to Manscaped, Twig and Berries. Use the promo code Nation15, gets you 15% off at Twig and Berries. And of course, our friends at Oodle Noodle. Get ready, Calgary. Oodle Noodle is coming like a train. This has been episode 265 of the Real Life Podcast. Talk again on Monday.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.